How's it going tonight, my buddy Arthur?
Arthur's doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. If you haven't met Arthur before, which I don't think you have yet, we have a few recordings. Arthur's a good friend and relative, which I want to emphasize the friend part. Relative is just blood relation, and friendship is something different.
Oh, 100%. Growing up, I couldn't wait to see my cousins. Yeah, the friendship thing is that only happens if you have that chemistry and the parents are close. In our instance, the sisters, they were very close. And the proximity to have people is a big thing that goes along with it. We all know that growing up. If you're all in a small area and everybody's close, you're going to have that chemistry. And then it's lifelong. Look at me and my cousin Shelby.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, we grew up, I was the furthest of us two from our grandparents, and they were a mile away from me and maybe a quarter mile from you. The houses couldn't be much closer. We spent a lot of time down there. That was really a good part of my growing up, and what a great upbringing, really. I really felt good and special about my upbringing. Felt like it was something of a novel.
Do you remember waking up some of the nights, staying over in the bunk beds, and you just smell the maple air, coming through the windows? There's no air conditioning.
Yeah. Cousins hanging out, sleeping, flipping your pillow to get the cold side.
100%.
Yeah. Since our grandparents had 10 kids, the house was pretty big. And as we got older, there's a little more, not empty nesters. I don't think they were empty nesters until we were quite old.
Never.
I remember watching our aunts cheerlead in high school.
Right.
So that's how close we
you
were.
Go to the games, you're like, oh, this is the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
You walk into the gymnasiums with the kids going crazy and your cheerleader aunts having a great time, hammering their pom-poms. I remember those times. We were probably in wood gymnasiums in local, probably like Plymouth or
could have been our own Buckeye Central before they closed down.
A lot of them play Buckeye.
Yeah. And it was pretty entertaining, especially with my mom was the oldest surviving, I guess. And your mom was number 4?
5. Right in the middle.
Okay.
Smack dab in the middle.
Smack dab in the middle. But we would go, and they were close together. But we both remember watching our aunts cheerlead in high school, that's pretty special.
Very special.
Yeah.
Good times.
And it's not like there was a giant gap, like someone had some kid like 12, 15 years later.
No.
It was that they had so many kids, they all ended up pretty close.
Boom. The tail end of it, they had, nieces and nephews that were brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
To a point.
Oh, yeah. Well, your son.
Rick, growing up, he was like my older brother.
Yeah.
Our Uncle Rick. Yeah, it happened.
Well, your son and your youngest brother were pretty dang close.
Yep. They were 5 years apart.
Yeah.
And they grew up like brothers, and they still hang out and do things. It's great.
Yeah, you're the oldest of 5, and he was the youngest. So they ended up pretty darn close together. Yeah.
It's like one thing could just change everything in the blink of an eye. And
was there anything in your childhood growing up that you thought was a big change? Just things that happened, or just a move, or anything that really changed what you were, or who you thought you were, and you had to become someone different?
Sure. I grew up in Mansfield. Growing up, I had a lot of good friends. It was a good community still. But I hear stories after I left when I was like 12 years old, came out here. It's like, that just put me in a better place to be and grow up with the environment and the people around, family. I saw it right before my eyes. I knew it right when I left.
And if anybody knows Mansfield, Ohio, it's smack dab between Cleveland and Columbus. And it seems like a small town, but it's not that small. I believe 50 to 70,000 people, maybe.
Yeah.
You look at those numbers, and it doesn't seem that big, but it's a halfway point, just about from each one, maybe an hour or 15. But it really has become rough because we were really a manufacturing stronghold in the state for some time. That was back before the Rust Belt. I think it was Westinghouse had some really big facilities in Mansfield, and it was doing really well. And there's still a road that I would call Millionaire's Row, and the houses are not in good shape anymore. They were beautiful at one time. It's just one of those towns that hasn't done very well. And Arthur got out when he was young, which I did not grow up in the city at all. I grew up out in the middle of nowhere for the first 5 years. I was in a small town, and then the rest until I was 19 was out in the country. But going from the inner city, like, can I say inner city?
Yeah.
When you were there, like, what kind of fun stuff to do? How did it play out every day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you had kindergarten through 5th grade, and you had different sports you play and have a good time with all the kids. Growing up, I had a lot of good friends there. I mean, you're 5th grade, 8 years old, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Is that when you moved?
Yeah. No, I was about 12, going in 6th grade.
And then you moved out to the middle of nowhere pretty much.
Well, pretty much. And then went to Buckeye East and Tyro, Ohio, which doesn't exist anymore.
You went to Buckeye East?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know where Grandma and Grandpa went to school?
Yeah, I didn't get to go there.
Actually, Grandpa graduated from there.
Yeah, from high school from that school in Tyro, Ohio.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a school when you were in school still.
Yeah. When I came over from Mansfield in my sixth grade year, I went to Tyro Elementary, and it was Mr. Miller. It was interesting. My first male teacher. And
really?
He had off-site courses going with kids. He had engine repair, Briggs and Stratton. Yeah, I remember going over there. Yeah, he was a good teacher. Just trying to show kids anything he could. I don't know, what year did they tear it down? I don't remember what year was the last year.
I remember playing Little League there, but I didn't think it was an active school then. So that's interesting. And our grandfather graduated from high school from that same building.
I had 1 year there.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I really thought it was closed down then when I was younger. I thought it was closed for many years, but I didn't know anything, Right. I couldn't. I just chewed on my straps on my glove while in the outfield. They put me in left field and said, hey, don't eat your whole glove, trying to chew off the knots, because I would be very, very bored out there. So you end up going to let's just say Podunk, because we're from it.
Yeah, Tyro.
Podunk school, and then you went to a Podunk high school, town of 2,000 people, class of, let me guess, 62.
53ers.
Really?
One of them.
Was it in there? Yeah.
Close.
I was just guessing.
That's good.
The year before me, so it wasn't that far. It's not very pretty close. So you went to a small school. We were talking earlier, and Arthur and I had a conversation about this because I forget sometimes that he grew up when he was younger, because I was younger. We don't know what's going on. We're young. We just jump in the station wagon and go wherever the station wagon takes us. At one point, you moved out closer to us, and I remember your old house. I remember the dog in the backyard. I remember a chain link fence.
Yeah.
We were talking about how bad things had gotten. That's really where it started. It didn't start with us talking about where we were from. We were talking about this town. And Arthur said, I'm probably better off, and I think I was probably saved when we moved.
Right. Well, like I said, where we grew up, Mansfield, it was 40 years ago.
So it's probably the mid-'80s?
Yeah. So the neighborhoods were different. I think transition everything took. I think us coming out here saved us. To a point. It could be worse. But you don't know. It might have been all right staying there.
Maybe.
You don't have to be a punk back in that area.
Mm-hmm. When I think about my life, I wasn't really exposed to that until I got older. And then I was exposed to when I moved down to Columbus. And I think I was a little bit shell-shocked when I saw it the first time. Just the way people are. I don't know. I still sometimes think about it. I grew up pretty sheltered. And I feel like luckily I learned a little bit about the rest of the world. And I'm glad I didn't have to live it.
Right.
I guess I chose not to live it. I think everybody has a choice. So you moved out to the Podunks, and then you were talking about how you're a father and a grandfather. So this is a nice introduction to Arthur, but one thing I'd like to hear is, what's your favorite part about being a grandfather? What is one moment where it melts your heart? I'm assuming you feel this way, like this is my calling in life. And just so everybody has a background, Arthur has 2 kids. One's early 20s, other's mid-20s.
Later
20s. And he has 2 granddaughters who are twins, who are also, let me guess, 4.
4.5.
4.5.
Correct.
Yes. I'm within 2 years. That's good for me. But what's your favorite part about being a grandfather?
I think it was that exact moment when you found out that you're going to be a grandfather. You know your kids are coming to a point, but when the grandkids are coming, you find out, I don't know. It's just a different animal, different game.
But you do so much for those kids. Yeah, you do. You were just talking earlier how your son and daughter-in-law came over and they just wanted to come over and hang out for a little bit, say goodbye to your wife who's on a trip. And you said, yeah, come on over. And you were blowing off the trampoline and mom and dad pulled in and they're like, hey, stop it. The kids aren't allowed to be outside.
I know what they want.
Yeah. They want to go Papa's. Is that right, Papa? Pappy's trampoline.
And they came, they did it. Yeah.
And those are the special things where you want to help them and you want to prepare for them. And they're so cute and helpless. You just want to help as much as you can.
Right.
And just to see them enjoying themselves for the effort that you put in, I feel like that's good payback for a grandfather.
But, tough love is, they're learning. So,
yeah. Mom and dad didn't want to go on the trampoline.
Around a little bit.
You need to learn. Listen to mom and dad, but also Pappy knows the way. Well, thank you, Arthur. Nice talking a little bit about family.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we'll be talking to you soon.
See you on next time.
Have a good night.